Today is Testimony Tuesday, and I get the honor of introducing my friend, Brittany Hines. Brittany is an amazing young woman that is going to share her testimony of living in the world and how God has restored her. And I'm so proud of her. And I get to walk alongside of her now, and it is amazing to see what God is doing in her life. I know that there will be someone out there today that needs to hear her story of how God can restore. So Brittany, I thank you so much for sharing, and I know that each of you that are watching will be blessed.
Hi guys, my name's Brittany Hines, and I was asked to give a testimony in 5 minutes or less for the Girltalk group. This is proving to be quite challenging as I do have a lot to say. I have a lot in my past, and it's kind of difficult to pinpoint what to talk about and what not to talk about. I never really had a one-on-one relationship with Christ, and I never really had a true example as to how to navigate that or what that means, what that personal relationship is. I grew up in many different denominations. I went to Catholic catechism. I was baptized in the Christian church. I was introduced to Baptist doctrine. I was in pretty much every religion as far as Christianity goes. So I was really confused, and I also have a biological father that is an atheist and doesn't believe at all. So I had all of that, plus my father influencing me. And so I was very confused. I was very just overwhelmed. And so I stepped away. Around the age of 15, I think I kind of just was like, okay, whatever. Originally wanted to save myself for marriage, had all of these convictions, and through hurts and lies and the enemy, I didn't hang on to those values as I should have. I lost my virginity at a young age, and it wasn't with anybody in particularly special. The person never talked to me again after, actually. I've had a past of addiction, drug abuse, alcohol abuse, depression, anxiety is something that I've always dealt with, suicidal thoughts, self-harm. I started to cut myself when I was at 12 or 13. And I also had a lot of friends that did the same thing. And it wasn't ever, it was just a cry out for help, a cry for attention, trying to be in control of something. I felt like my life was so out of control. I never really had a steady father in my life. I had 6 stepdads growing up and a biological father that did his best with what he could, but he was absent. And I still don't have the relationship with my dad as I had hoped or wished that I had. We had a falling out a few years ago. Yes, 2 years, maybe a year ago, and we've never reconciled since. So that's difficult. I was a part of a group of girls that frequent strip clubs and worked as prostitutes, and I never saw myself as a jewel or something that should be valued, and I didn't treat myself that way. Through a lot of hurt and a lot of pain in my past, I saw myself as an object, because that's how I felt I had been treated. And I didn't understand God's love. I didn't understand who he was, partly because I didn't know my earthly father, but secondly, I didn't love who I was. I didn't love the things I was doing, and I saw it as no way out. Like, this is where I'm at. This is the life that I'm living, and I guess this is all there is for me. I do have a divorce in my past, 2 divorces actually. My husband that I'm with now, we've actually been married twice. I have overcome so much, you guys, and it's almost overwhelming to try and just spit it all out in 5 minutes. I had an eating disorder after suffering a stillborn. I created so much turmoil in my life out of hurt and pain and sadness and shame and guilt. I didn't think anybody cared. I didn't think anybody wanted to listen. So I kept it all in and I bottled it all up, but I put makeup on and I smiled to the world and those around me, but inside I was dying, literally dying. I got down to 98 pounds and I had a nervous breakdown. And my life fell apart. I really had no other choice but to look up to God. And that is the moment that my life turned around. God restored me, and in a way that only He can. I no longer look at myself in the mirror and look away. I can look at myself and I can see the light, and I don't feel that overwhelming darkness and shame that I felt before. Have I done those things in my past? Yes, but that's not who I am. And God reminds me of that, and the love that He shows me every day through, whether it be, the wind blowing or the sun shining or my child looking at me. I know that God is here, and I know that He has restored me. I was able to be baptized by Pastor Shane at Shoal Creek Church in November of last year. And ever since then, I've had a fire for the Lord. I've had a fire to just reach out to women who feel like they aren't enough, or that they are used up, or they are trash. I felt that way. I know what that feels like. I can identify in being so buried in shame and guilt and worry for what other people are going to say about where you've been. That I want that to be my mission. I pray that God can use me to motivate and encourage and inspire other women around me. So I started a ministry page called Jesus Bits with Britt, and I go live twice a week, and I use that platform to talk about the change that God's brought in my life, and to encourage anybody who is down or hurting to reach out to Jesus, and He is the only one that can save. I know I've gone over a little bit, and I'm sorry about that. But if you have any questions about my testimony, or if you want to know more details, I'm happy to share the story that God's given me. And I pray that this has been an encouragement. And I just ask you guys to please don't pass judgment on people when their testimony is different from yours, and encourage those, lift those up around you. Everybody has a mess, but our mess is His message. And I can't even begin to describe the amount of gratitude that I have for our Heavenly Father. And I pray that this will touch you and help you. Thanks.